If you look up at Saturn through a telescope, the rings appear perfectly still. They look like giant, solid disks of ice wrapped securely around the second largest planet in our solar system. Because Saturn itself formed roughly 4.5 billion years ago, scientists logically assumed that this massive ring system was born at the exact same time. The planet is ancient, so the rings must be ancient too. That was the consensus until 2004, when NASA's Cassini spacecraft reached Saturn. It spent the next 13 years photographing the rings in extreme detail, measuring their mass, and analyzing their chemistry. The data Cassini sent back told a completely different story. Those massive rings are actually shockingly young, and even more surprising, they are actively disappearing. That peaceful, perfectly still image we see through our telescopes is an illusion. We are actually looking at the aftermath of a massive, violent collision. This timeline shows the full 4.5 billion year lifespan of Saturn, but the rings formed roughly 100 to 400 million years ago. To put that into perspective, when dinosaurs walked the Earth, Saturn was a plain gas giant. It most likely had no rings. Planetary scientists trace the creation of the rings to a catastrophic event. A massive icy moon likely wandered too close to Saturn, where the planet's enormous gravity stretched the moon apart until it completely shattered into a massive debris field. Over millions of years, that wreckage organized into the concentric bands we see in this image. They shine so brilliantly across millions of miles of space because they are made of nearly pure water ice, which reflects sunlight extremely well. Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune also have rings, but as you can see looking at Neptune here, those systems are packed with dark dust and rock, making them incredibly difficult to spot. Saturn won a cosmic lottery. A massive icy world was destroyed at the exact right distance, leaving behind billions of highly reflective pieces of ice that range from the size of a sand grain to the size of a mountain. But the forces that created this massive structure are not letting it rest. The rings are being consumed right now. In this cross-section, sunlight hits tiny orbiting ice particles, electrically charging them to interact with Saturn's magnetic field. Once charged, Saturn's gravity pulls them from stable orbit, dragging them downward to spiral along magnetic field lines into the planet's atmosphere. Scientists call this process ring main, and it is happening fast. Every single second, thousands of kilograms of ancient cosmic ice fall out of the rings and melt into Saturn. The exact same gravitational pull that organized all that shattered moon debris into a beautiful disk is now acting as an enormous hourglass, steadily draining the material away. At the current rate of decay, the math is unforgiving. Researchers calculate that the rings will largely disappear within the next 100 to 300 million years. This chart maps out the full history of our solar system. Against a 4.5 billion year timeline, Saturn's majestic rings will only exist for a tiny fraction of the planet's total lifetime. If a distant future civilization points a telescope at Saturn billions of years from now, they won't see a glowing halo of ice. They will just see a massive, plain sphere of gas. It's a stark reminder of how the universe actually operates. Stars are born, massive galaxies collide, and planets constantly evolve. Nothing in space is static, and even a structure hundreds of thousands of miles wide is entirely temporary. We happen to exist during a very specific, very lucky moment in cosmic history. We get to look up and witness a temporary masterpiece of shattered ice before it fades away entirely.